Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Dang, and I am currently an undergraduate student here at the University of Guelph. I would like to welcome you to the College of Physical and Engineering Science Convocation this afternoon. The University of Guelph is honored by our graduates, and we take great pride in this convocation. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the proceedings today. Their ceremonials used for conferring degrees have evolved over a millennium, and the gowns and hoods represent that history. In general, the gowns for the baccalaureate and the magisteriate degrees are black, and the color of the hood is different for each degree program. The doctorates at the University of Guelph have a bright blue gown, and the honorary degrees are red. The University of Guelph crest that you can see on the curtains behind me, and also shown on the cover of the convocation program, also represent our specific history. The emblems in the crest show links to the royal city of Guelph through the white stallion above, the connection to liberal arts through the book, to the sciences through the astrolabe, and our connection to abundance of agriculture through the cornucopia. The University of Guelph motto, Rerum cognoscere causis, is a quote from Virgil. It is variously translated to be either, happy is the one who is able to ascertain the reason of things, or perhaps to know the meaning of things. The procession of people into the hall are also influenced by ancient tradition. The piper will herald the start of the procession of graduands, the students who are coming to graduate today. This will be followed by the arrival of the mace leading the platform party. The mace is a symbol of authority at the university and will be carried by the beadle. In medieval universities, a beadle was chosen by the instructor to work as an assistant. Today, the beadle is the ceremonial officer of Senate. Following the beadle and mace is the chancellor and president, members of the administration and the honorees, fellows of the university, members of the board and senate, and members of faculty and staff. The degree will be conferred in the order that you see in your program. The degrees are separated by categories representing the specific degree being awarded within the college. We will begin with the doctorates and magisteriates, followed by the baccalaureate degrees. The name reader will present scholars to the chancellor and president by degree category. As the name of each student is called, the beadle will place the hood over the recipient's shoulders. This moment will be videoed, and technology willing, there will be a simultaneous live cast of the event to follow family members and friends to watch from a distance. The president will greet each student at center stage, and a photograph will be taken. We understand the joy and excitement accompanying such an auspicious occasion, but we ask that you hold your applause until after each group of graduates has crossed the stage. There will be an opportunity for a truly thunderous applause. Once all the degrees are conferred and all the cheers are cheered, the chancellor will close the ceremony and a recessional will play. Please remain standing during the recessional until all the platform party has processed out of the hall. Our colleagues from Alumni Affairs are hosting a social media program developed especially for convocation. Please share your photos, memories, and advice with graduating students by joining us on social media using the hashtag #GuelphGrad. Finally, may I be the first person to congratulate the graduates on their various successes and offer my congratulations to the family and friends who are here to support them. Welcome to convocation at the University of Guelph.
our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
On this day of celebrated accomplishment, we pause and reflect on our place in this world. This evening or afternoon, we acknowledge the Attawandaron people on whose traditional territory the University of Guelph now resides. And we offer our respects to their Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Métis neighbors. On this day that marks the end of a journey, we give thanks. We give thanks for all the friendships that have been forged along the way. We are grateful for all those who have supported us, faculty, staff, mentors, and families. I invite you, each in your own way, to take a moment of silence, to reflect on that for which you are grateful, to offer a prayer. As we step into a new tomorrow, may the knowledge that we have gained here be coupled with wisdom and infused with compassion and clothed with humility, that we might contribute to the flourishing of all humanity, that we might embrace the forgotten, enhance the sustainability of all things, and fully discover together what it means to be human. May grace and peace abound. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. I am delighted to officially open this 2017 University of Guelph Convocation ceremony and welcome everyone here. President Baccarino, members of the board, honorary fellows, faculty and staff, family and friends of the graduates, today, as we celebrate the achievements of our graduating students, I'd like to offer particular welcome to our convocation speaker, Ed McBean, who'll be introduced shortly. My name is Martha Billis, and I have the honor of serving as Chancellor here at the University of Guelph. And what an honor it is to be here today, back at the university, my alma mater. I think back to when I was in your shoes, proud to be a Mac Institute graduate and anxious to take on the next challenge around the corner. Problem is, we do not always know what is coming or how we're going to get there. Today, I want to instill in you a belief my dean, Margaret McCready, instilled in me years ago. She was full of advice, but most often said, "Remember, ladies, you are Mac girls, and Mac girls can do anything." And she was right. I stand before you today to proudly and confidently tell you that the education I received here gave me the wherewithal to go out and strive beyond what I thought I was capable of. Since the days of its founding colleges, the University of Guelph has been a leader in practical education focused on the whole student. The university has fostered an environment that encourages its community of students to aim higher, to make things better, to be more productive, to turn preconceived notions on their head, to make a difference, to improve life. My education opened up doors and offered windows on the world I could not have imagined. Half a century later, those things are still happening here at this fantastic institution. Graduands, your windows are waiting. It's your turn. Your turn to make a difference and to improve life for ourselves and for others. I know you can do it because you are, after all, a University of Guelph graduate, and you can do anything. Good luck to you all. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Franco Vaccarino, and I have the honor and the great privilege of serving as the president and vice chancellor of this wonderful university. Well, graduates, this is your big day. You've worked hard, you've persevered, and you made it. Well done, well deserved. Think fast. Think fast. We've all heard that expression. You don't often hear anyone telling you to think slow. But my main message today is twofold. Think fast and think slow. As a psychologist, I'm interested in cognitive science and neuroscience, and speaking as well as a parent of university-age children, I believe that your minds are actually different from those of your parents' generation. We see how you absorb information and how you interact with and through information technology. Young people are very, very good at coping with lots of information and shifting their attention in that context. Basically, your brains have adapted to a very fast-paced world. Today, we are navigating a river of knowledge, one that's growing larger and flowing faster all the time. New ideas are coming at us at an unprecedented pace. New innovations, new ways of connecting the dots and understanding the world. We need to process more and more information in the same amount of time. We need to think faster. We might call fast thinking reactive thinking. Reactive thinking is a kind of tactical thinking. It's what helps a driver negotiate the twists and turns of the road on a moment-to-moment basis. But of course, there's another kind of thinking. Reflective thinking, or slow thinking, takes a more strategic view, a broader view. Not that I'm suggesting that you think more slowly in the literal sense. I'm talking about a different kind of thinking, a different way of approaching problems than tactical or reactive. In our fast-paced world, universities are increasingly important places for both kinds of thinking. Reactive thinking, fast thinking that addresses the now, and there's plenty in the now. But also reflective thinking that rises above and beyond the here and now to take the long view and consider the broader context. To consider tomorrow, to consider the day after. As students at the University of Guelph, you've benefited during the past few years from an environment that has challenged your own thinking. An environment that nurtures freedom of thought and expression and inquiry. An environment that promotes and supports openness to new ideas. One that involves and invites varied perspectives on a problem or opportunity. We've tried to encourage you to exercise both reactive and reflective thinking. We've stressed the kind of thinking that enables you not just to provide the right answers, but also, importantly, of course, to ask the right questions. We've looked to nurture thinking that is disciplined and thinking that is interdisciplinary, that draws upon diverse experiences, diverse points of view. That kind of thinking I would suggest is even more important. It's more important than ever in a world where the challenges and opportunities we face are larger and more complex than ever. Now, big problems and big opportunities need lots of minds thinking together on solutions. And they should be not just like minds, but unlike minds. Unlike minds, minds from varied backgrounds and different perspectives. You know, there's a proverb that goes something like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Well, you're about to explore and discover the next phase of your lives, including, I hope, finding ways to improve life for others around you, and in the wider world. So go together, think fast, and think slow. Thank you very much.
I am pleased to invite Ed McBean, Professor and Canada Research Chair in Water Supply Security, to give the convocation address. Ed?
Thank you. Good afternoon. It is wonderful to be here. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the board, fellow faculty, friends and family, and of course, most of all, graduates. Congratulations, graduates, to you all. You have now successfully completed a challenging program of studies, and here you are now ready to move forward to the big world of opportunity. Your analytical skills, your knowledge, and your energy will translate well whenever and wherever they are applied. Your education will provide you with the tools essential to assist you in these endeavors, and society needs all of you. Thinking back to when you started for your studies at the University of Guelph, the road to this day probably seemed like it was very far in the future. However, here we are today at this substantial transformation with all the opportunities that life may provide lying before you. You have received the contributions from your professors and classmates, the water in the tap, the speed of the computer, the abilities to communicate virtually, instantaneously with family and friends. These and so many others, too numerous to mention, you are about to become, in many real and varied ways, stewards of the world. The world is changing. You may no longer rely on trends to forecast future needs, but that's part of the excitement and the challenge. Urbanization and technology are creating new governance expectations. Climate change is ongoing, and the world's needs are shifting. Real-time metadata are accelerating, and for technology potentials, the pathway isn't clear. But that is part of the opportunity. You're going to be reinventing the world. Your analytical skills and knowledge will translate well. Now is the time to reach out to the diverse network of contacts and people you have worked with and to look for solutions. However, and isn't there always a however in this kind of a presentation? No one said this was going to be easy, but you do now have the tools to make it all happen, and the timing of your next set of adventures is occurring when humanity needs you most. The human population will be cresting, water will become short in supply, sea levels are rising, and if you didn't know me before now, you'll realize that I'm a water guy, so you know where I get my examples. But regardless, you now understand you will be facing some very exciting challenges in your professional career. While you have expertise, you can never claim you've mastered it. With each advance in our understanding, we are exposed to yet more that we do not know. Never lose your wonder and thirst for learning. At this point in time, I'd like to draw upon the comments of Richard Marceau, the former president of the Canadian Academy of Engineering. Richard indicated that the tenaciousness and stubbornness are two sides of the same coin. When you succeed, people say you've been tenacious. When you don't succeed, people say you were just plain stubborn. It's noteworthy that I've been accused of having both sides of that coin myself. But I would be remiss not to mention that one of the best things is now you'll have positive cash flow and sleeping hours to pursue these future activities. Now that I've hopefully inspired you to search for what you are able to accomplish and challenged you to pursue these advances, let me digress for just a few moments about some of my own personal experience. You might ask, why are you an engineer? I was raised in Vancouver. I didn't start out thinking that engineering was for me. I was really good in only math and science, So that made the choice a little easier, but regardless, in other words, I clearly did study to become an engineer. So you might ask, why was that? I remember even to this day sitting on my parents' deck at the back of their house, drinking coffee, looking at the wondrous views of Vancouver, and smelling a pulp mill which was 60 kilometers away. Why am I subjected to the deterioration of my environment being caused by this source of foul air emissions? The rest is now history, as I was inspired to contribute to the world around me. It's also worth mentioning, one of my favorite questions, which I always ask of students, what do you want to be in 10 to 15 years? And I love getting their very diverse answers, and sometimes I'm not really sure. Heck, if they even asked me that question today, I would have trouble answering it, and I'd have to confess, well, I'll know the answer in 10 to 15 years. As you get older, you will look back on this day and wonder how you thought you were so smart when you realize you have so much more to learn. That's the beauty of what you need to do. Look for the challenges, look for opportunities, and you will continue to have interesting things to do. So let it be for you that you continue to be inspired with whatever career path you choose to follow. As a result of my decision to pursue my education in engineering, I have had the opportunity to work with many and experience the joy of finding exciting opportunities. But what I am most pleased to indicate is that some of my best memories are about the students that have gone on to do interesting things and make contributions themselves. Some are professors, some are government, some are city, some are practitioners, and many are sprinkled all around the world. Hence, you too will serve as examples that professors will say, well, maybe I did manage to contribute a little bit to that career of that individual. That's our memory, and that's really important. It's also noteworthy that I purchased, as an undergraduate, the very best slide rule I could ever need, because I was going to use it throughout my career. Well, that didn't work out too well. I think if I tried really hard, I could look at the back of a drawer somewhere and find that piece of ancient technology. However, the knowledge that I obtained while using that slide rule, and now use more currently relevant technologies, I can now solve much more interesting and complicated, interesting problems. In the same vein, I recall one of my professors at MIT who indicated that as a new graduate, he spent several years doing backwater calculations to estimate the impacts of reservoir construction. These are onerous calculations. Each person in a line of 50 desks did one iteration, and after completion of that iteration would pass it to the desk behind them, and in turn, on and on it goes throughout the day. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that would not be an exciting career of today's context, because now we can solve things so much more interesting and in a matter of a few nanoseconds. But that's technology. You've studied relevant technologies now, and they will serve you well. These all provide fundamental stepping stones, and we can adapt to new technologies. The real life and the real achievement in life is being able to look back and feel you've lived a life rich in meaning. As they say, life is more about the journey than the destination. Find something you love to do, work hard at it, and good will come from it. So what do you need? You need to be curiously humble. You need to listen to those around you. You need to enjoy life and work and give it all you can. And for all of this hard work that you will do in the future, I personally thank you, because I have both my trust and my gratitude, because the wellness that you create and an opportunity for my grandchildren in part depends on you. So in closing, thank you, and I express all of my best wishes to all of you for a happy and fulfilling life. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McBain, for those inspiring words. Good afternoon. I'm Charlotte Yates. I'm the Vice President, Academic and Provost at the University of Guelph. And I have the great pleasure to move you one step closer to graduation. So could I ask, will the graduating class please rise? Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees.
by virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admission to your various and several degrees, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
Will members of the graduating class please be seated?
Good afternoon. My name is Ben Bradshaw, and I'm the Assistant Vice President of Graduate Studies at the University of Guelph. I always look forward to convocation because it provides me with the opportunity to read aloud the names of some of our 2,500 graduate students here at the university who have completed master's and doctoral degrees, following what can constitute years of study and research. I also appreciate the chance to address some of our newly completed undergraduates and encourage them to return to the university to complete a graduate degree. Given my own excitement, I would love to lead a collective applause for each of our graduates, but unfortunately I must exercise restraint and ask you as well to hold your collective applause until after the presentation of each of the degree programs. Of course, if you wish to express your excitement in some audible manner as your graduate walks across the stage, we will not stand in your way. Indeed, we encourage you to do so. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Physical and Engineering Science that they may be admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Abdullah Asad Abdullah. Safia Attar.
You go stand on the box. Oh, no, you're on the ground.
John Douglas Carter. Come on in, Edward. Edward Gadzendam.
Sorry, Steph. I didn't see Steph sitting there.
Oh, good.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry, Ben.
That's good. Tarfa Yassin Hamed. Mohammed Shariful Islam. Tyler Jackson. Kamal Gawali. John David Malcolm.
Yeah, like exactly like that. Yep. Okay, you stand on the ground.
Come on. There we go. Vidya. There we go. Vidya Nagari Rajan. Muhammad Ali Shariuri. William Robert Trinuth. Masood Zamani. Please join me in congratulating our newly minted doctorates. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Physical and Engineering Science, that they may be admitted to the degree of Master of Applied Science. Fatima Nazrin Haq. Alicia Marie Persad. Bharat Regmi. Arife Rezani. Abu Rahan Mohammed Zadiq. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Physical and Engineering Science, that they may be admitted to the degree of Master of Engineering. Sukhamani Bola. Hitesh Chila Pagari. Saeed Shahid Hosani. Ramneek Kong. Adarsh Tandia. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Physical and Engineering Science, that they may be admitted to the degree of Master of Science. Corey Patrick James Alexander. Haley Sonia Garrison Cornelius. Mona Ali Gwala. Christine McGregor. Andrew Porter. Emma Jean Smith. Please join me in congratulating our new Mastrates.
Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Physical and Engineering Science that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering. Fidel Mohammed Al-Sultan. Parways Amory. Gherkinwall Aurora, with distinction. Umna Arshed. Vienna Basin. Andrew Thomas Beck, with distinction. Stephanie Bell, with distinction. Matthew Gordon Forrester Bennett. Rafael Carlo Bertucci. Gersimer Bomra. Daniel Bilzer. John Andrew Burchard. Sasha Bolton. Christopher Bredner, with distinction. Eric Alexander Chadwick, with distinction. Danette Chanlee. Yaj Cherkuri. William Allen Chomick. William Sean Clark. Nathan Cole, with distinction. Kurswill Collins. Diana Kontonansky. I missed that one. Molly Elizabeth Corrigan with distinction. Jose Cortemonge. Martha Curie. Olivia Courier. Salma Damek with distinction. Danya Devi. Justin Delandria with distinction. Thank you. Caitlin Dolan. Hannah Olivia Dunnings. Jesse Elder with distinction. Corey Danielle Francis. Angela Gayro with distinction. David Gall. Morgan Gillies. Austin Roy Graham. Sean Green. Lionor Gruber. Andrew Grunwald. Terrence McLean Hart. Kwasai Hassoun. Thanks, Jen. Jennifer Hill with distinction. Gabrielle Huber. Ashley Hewitt with distinction. Jocelyn Ivel with distinction. Marcus Johnston. Megan Camachi with distinction. Connor Kelly. Thank you. Larissa Kemp with distinction. Corey Kretschmer. Thanks. Jose Lacroix. Emily Lockhart. Kira McDonald. Julian Maragno. Benjamin John McConville. Thanks. Patrick McGrath with distinction. Catherine Harris McLeod. Alexander McNabb. Kayla Mellenbacher with distinction. Matthew Moen. Thomas Muir. Andrew Noss. Mark Fitzgerald O'Reilly. Bradley Patterson. Kendra Lynn Perdos. Christian Perron. Adria Kimberly Pitwanakwat. Christopher Stephen Poland. Thomas Mirek Potak. Gabriel Jarsu Satka. Mark Rocco with distinction. Anne-Sophie Rossiter with distinction. Sebastian Sadowski. Jacob Schultz. Evan Smith with distinction. Paige Smith. Tennyson Snelling. Peter Michael Soligo, with distinction. Michael Stansky. Which one? Mackenzie Stevenson.
Change my mind, say the whole thing.
Robert Harvey Deniston Stewart. Thanks. Anita Taylor, with distinction. Emily Temple. Brittany Tina Thalen, with distinction. Satwinder Cora Thind. Navalpreet Kaur Tiwana. Connor Russell Tulloch. Joseph Vandenberg. Amy Vandenandy. William Vandenhogen. Matthew Thomas Vella. Vijayalak Velivolo. Christopher Vines, with distinction. Rachel Walton, with distinction. Mitchell Wiley. Josephine C. Yee. Heather Lauren Young. Roger Yu. Please join me in congratulating the graduates from the School of Engineering, College of Engineering and Physical Sciences.
That was great. Madam Chancellor, I would ask you to confer the various and several degrees on the graduates listed in the program but unable to be present at this ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduands not present.
Well, graduates, you did it. Congratulations. Well, let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you now to the Griffin Alumni family. This, as you can imagine, is a growing family. This week, more than 3,400 new graduates are joining that family. And you should know that the University of Guelph alumni now number more than 125,000 graduates around the world. Now, as you can imagine, we're all very proud of your accomplishments here at the university and look forward to seeing how the foundations that you've developed here as students will continue to serve you in the years to come and in your futures. We want to celebrate your achievements and your successes and do hope that you will stay in touch and remember that you're always welcome here. Graduates, you've made, I'm sure, all sorts of memories while you've been here, including, of course, today's ceremony. But remember this as well. You're a student for a relatively short time, but you're a Griffin forever. Congratulations. So that concludes our formal convocation ceremony, and the College Dean will host a reception for all of the graduates and their guests in Creelman Hall right next door. This is an opportunity to mingle, congratulate the graduates, and we really do hope that you can attend. And now, the final word is from our Chancellor.
Convocation is dismissed.
Congratulations, everyone. We know you're going to go out and do lots of exciting things. Please come back often. Share them at homecoming, share them at alumni weekend, and visit often. We're going to ask a little bit of help in preparing the hall for the next group of families eager to see their students graduate. We'll ask you to head out the doors on the side here with the students going first and their families second. While you're out there, have a great time, sharing time to get some photos for this wonderful day that you've had. And when you're done, please return your gowns and hoods to the tent so the next students can look as good as you. And I'm going to ask you this time to turn it up and do one more cheer for yourselves. Congratulations. Woo! And now you're free to go.